Hello garden lovers! This week at Southern California Gardening, we are getting some pepper and chili plants planted in our cattle panel greenhouse. And we will be sharing some tips on how we keep our pepper and chili plants strong and healthy for large harvests. Our outside temps are still too low to get these guys planted in the outside raised beds. The plants would do fine and survive at 37 degrees, but pepper plants and chili plants love to stay warm and cozy, like this jalapeno plant that's been growing in the greenhouse for most of the winter. You can see here the leaves are nice and smooth, dark green, and if we were to get these young transplants outside in these super low temps that we still are experiencing in the early morning hours, we would see the leaves start to bubble. They would get a bumpy texture to them, and that's a sign of stress. So we will get this group of bells transplanted into the cattle panel greenhouse today, and then all of our green chilies and some of the hotter peppers will go in the outside raised beds in a few weeks. Here we are rinsing off all of the aphids that are hiding on the undersides of the leaves. And while we do this, we pop off any blossoms. We don't want these guys fruiting yet. We let the ladybugs loose last night, so they will continue to munch away on the aphids. And I've got lots more blossoms to pick off before I get these guys in the soil. Just keep popping them off. And these guys are ready to get into the soil. You can see here the roots are already hitting the bottom. They are ready to spread out and grab more nutrients from the soil rich in organic matter. Pepper and chili plants are heavy feeders. They require lots of nutrients to grow big, strong, healthy plants. So we do a no-dig method here at Southern California Gardening. I highly recommend checking out Charles Dowding's no-dig method, his videos and books. We have adopted his growing method to fit our growing requirements here in our hot desert climate in Southern California. Plus, his no-dig method is excellent if you have a grub problem. Check out our video on how we battle grubs, where we go into detail on how to be successful growing food even if your soil is full of grubs. This soil is full of microbial life. We added a layer of compost a few months ago, so it's got lots of nutrients to feed the microbial network. So we leave the soil intact and we harvest at the soil level. And what we have found is the grubs like to stay lower where the soil is nice and cool. So when we get our young starts in, they're only in the first few inches, and it seems that the grubs stay down there munching on the more mature root system, and they don't bother the young starts. And then over time, you can see this one was cut at the soil level. The root system dies off, it starts to decompose, and they just pop right out of the soil. And then we pop in another plant each growing season. Add some Dr. Earth, organic fertilizer, high in calcium. Tomatoes and peppers definitely need calcium for the cell wall development. Mix it in really good. And look at this beauty. This is the Sun Gold Select by Wild Boar Farms. Can't wait to try these guys. Little baby, let's see if I can get in there. Little baby tomatoes already forming. So I'm going to get this hole bigger, get this guy buried a few inches deeper so that all of their little adventitious roots will start to develop, spread out, make a nice, strong, sturdy plant. So that last clip was filmed several weeks ago. You could see that Quite a few of the green chilies are doing great, but some of the green chili plants are already dying. Thankfully, the nursery had some Anaheim chili starts because we have planted all that we started from seed and started to pull up these dead plants to get these new starts in, and sure enough, here we have the root system has done almost nothing. There's a little bit of growth, but this is who I found under this plant, and I haven't even gotten too deep. These little monsters have been eating the roots and have killed our green chili plants that we started from seeds. So, such a bummer. That right there is several months worth of growing destroyed. I still definitely stick by the no-dig method for the best way to combat grubs, because there are a lot of grubs in this raised bed, and you can see here a lot of the chili plants are still doing great. We have lettuce growing in between the green chili plants, so the other grubs have lots of other roots to be eating, but unfortunately it's not 100%. Next year we need to have backup green chili plants so that we don't have to buy any from the nurseries, because these guys are going to be pretty far behind these other plants. But that's okay as long as we get hundreds of green chilies to roast, peel, and freeze for the year. Now, this is a great way to combat grubs. These are beneficial nematodes. We did do an application just a few days ago, so they will get in there, and what they do is they get inside the grub and kill them from the inside out. So we got these from Green Thumb Nursery. You could get these just about anywhere. Go online, but do your research on where you buy from. You want to make sure that you get them from a company that is going to make sure that they ship properly. They have to stay nice and cool and be refrigerated until use. And really, the main benefit of the no-dig is you're not disrupting the microbial network in the soil, so you're going to have healthier plants. And again, I highly recommend checking out Charles Dowding's no-dig method, his YouTube videos, and his books. All right, got all of the little Anaheim chili transplants in, so we will still get hundreds of green chilies out of this raised bed to roast, peel, and freeze for our green chili dishes for the year. Now at this point, these plants are nice and mature, and I'm going to stop pinching off the blossoms. I'll be leaving about 10 per plant so that we could get the biggest chilies possible out of all of these plants. We will get 2 to 3 harvests during this season, and we are using these extremely sturdy bamboo stakes. So you can see how tall that one is already. This one is about 2.5 feet tall, and the stakes that we've used in the past were kind of flimsy. They would bend over, very flexible. These are very, very sturdy. And here is the information on these bamboo stakes. And from this point on, it's all about caring for these beautiful plants to make sure that we get large harvests. See here, a little green chili starting already. So we will be feeding them with a compost tea once a week, and of course managing for pests. The next round of pests that are going to attack our beautiful plants are going to be aphids, and we use a neem oil Bronner soap mixture. Here is the information on how we battle aphids. I should mention that the only chili plants that we are pinching the blossoms off of are all of the big chilies and big bells. Like these Anaheim chilies, they get huge. They could get up to 8 inches long. And the bells, we want them to be as big as possible also. So for bell plants, we'll pinch them back to about 5 flowers per plant once we see the fruit setting in, so that we have nice big bell peppers per plant, and we'll get a couple harvests off those plants. And again, on these green chili plants, we'll pinch the blossoms off to about 10 per plant and get a couple of harvests a season from these plants. But all of our other chilies, like the Thai chilies, habanero, jalapeno, serrano, all of those we let them do their thing unless the plants are very, very small. But once they get a decent size, maybe about double this little guy, then we let the fruit set in. We're not thinning the flowers out, and as we're harvesting, the plant wants to produce more, so we harvest often. And when we are applying the pest control or the liquid fertilizer, you can see here I didn't follow what we normally do, which is we apply it in the early morning hours if it is a liquid fertilizer, and then I come back through and mist off all of the leaves so that we don't get this burn. When we're applying our aphid mix, which is basically an insecticidal soap, and our chewing insect mix, which is the neem oil and soap combination, we get our cold pressed neem oil from the Rustic Garden. Check out their online store and their YouTube channel. For pests and the neem oil application, we apply in the evening hours, basically at dusk or very early morning hours, but mostly in the evening hours so that it could set on the plant and the leaves and do its job. We've had aphid infestations in our greenhouse. Applied the Dr. Bronner soap mix, let it sit overnight, and then came back in the morning, rinsed off the soap from the leaves, and it took care of them. But we'll apply it 3 days later because there are often eggs under the leaves. Aphids will lay all of their eggs. Most of the time the aphids are under the leaves, but especially their little eggs, and they'll usually hatch within a few days, so we just come back and do another Bronner soap, insecticidal soap mixture. And for the chewing insects, the neem oil stays on the leaves, so as they are chewing, they're ingesting the neem oil, and it will take care of them. Alright, that's it for now. Next video, we will be doing a tour of all of the pepper varieties that we're growing here in our edible landscape, and we will go into more detail about how we are caring for our plants and pest control. Remember, something doesn't come from nothing. Hope you guys enjoy your week and enjoy your garden.